I'm really questioning how much y'all love y'all's wife, though, for real.
Y'all?
Why?
Y'all niggas don't got secret handshakes with y'all wife?
I ain't never seen nothing like that.
Y'all just developed y'all's right here.
No, we've already had it, but
No,
she
it looked
forgot.
like it was the first time.
And Key didn't even know what the handshake was.
But-
How
least
much
we're-
do you love her if she
We're
forgot?
working on it.
So what made y'all two grown adults sit here and say we need a handshake?
I got tired of seeing LeBron have handshakes with everybody. I need a handshake with my partner, too.
Does that signify that like you and your partner are like legit locked in
Yeah.
when you have a handshake?
Need
Maybe
that.
I'm his teammates.
I don't think Olivia and I will ever get to a handshake point.
What you mean?
We're not really
What do you mean?
special handshakers.
Do you have a handshake with anybody?
Nah. I
Like
ain't
you've
handshake
never
with
had a handshake?
See, there's levels.
Wait, y'all got handshakes?
There's
Yeah,
levels.
we used to play sports.
No, but I'm saying y'all have handshakes now with people?
We have handshakes with each other.
Y'all have handshakes with each other without me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's getting awkward. Should we
That's cool. Start the pod.
We can work on it though.
It was ready.
Embarrassment. So embarrassing. And we are back. Episode 65.
Yes, sir.
Season finale.
Season.
And we're going out with a bang.
Keep the expectations low. You never have your expectations too high.
This is going to be the best episode you've ever heard from any podcast ever. This is Coop, and I'm joined by
Your boy Dante.
and
What's up with it? It's your boy JJ.
produced by the biggest.
Big KJB.
What's up, guys?
What is this, Coop?
What you mean?
What's this?
This is the Soundboard Podcast. They know this is the season finale. They know what it is. They know what it is.
But
y'all.
what about somebody? What about somebody listening for the first time?
Nah. Everybody's locked in already, bro. Stop playing. Who don't know about us?
Maybe they're gonna share with their friends because they think we're absolutely amazing and they want them to know that this is the Soundboard Podcast.
You're right. Okay, so this is the Soundboard Podcast. This is where we meet and congregate. We fellowship. And discuss things like, am I tripping?
Yep. I got one of them this week.
You got one?
Yeah, we're gonna say that for later.
Save it for later. Before we get started, bro, I just had to do a PSA again.
Okay, what's your PSA, Coop?
So, I discovered recently that I like movies more than TV shows.
Okay, why?
Just because movies have a point and TV shows are just to keep you busy.
When you say TV shows, do you mean sitcoms?
Most
What do
TV
you
shows
mean?
don't have a point,
what's
bro.
the difference between TV shows and
Yeah,
sitcoms?
break that down.
Ain't a sitcom like on ABC they're episodic, but never mind, they're the same thing.
Hey. Sometimes you can take different routes.
No,
to get
because
to the
I don't
same
like the
point.
fact y'all be trying to make me feel stupid.
I really was curious.
You let another man make you feel some type of way about you?
Cool. Why don't you? Why talk to me?
Okay, so I went and watched the movie The Menu. Have you ever seen the
Never even
advertising
heard of it.
for that?
The menu.
Yeah.
Is that the white people on the island?
Yes.
All right, bet.
Are they? Do they get
You love
eaten?
these island shows.
Do they get eaten?
You have to watch the movie.
Boy, ain't nobody going to go see that. Half of the people don't even know what it is. I ain't never even heard of no preview for this.
I see where you got that from.
What?
That they get eaten.
Because the menu. Because it's a menu food.
Okay.
Cool. What's the plot?
Okay, anyway, so private island, super special chef. He only invites certain people to the island to eat. They eat everything they grow everything on the island that they eat. So what is it called? Farm to table?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's extreme.
Yeah.
It's extreme. But I don't want to give away the whole movie. I want y'all to go watch it.
No. I think this shows the simplicity of the plot.
Yeah, please.
Right now.
This might be my counter to TV over movies.
I mean, it was simple, but the overall message of it was the chef ended up. So he started off as a burger cook or whatever, and he was happy. Then he started wanting more from life, and then he lost his passion for cooking, and he chased like ambition, right? So by the end of the movie, all these things happen. Again, I want y'all to watch the movie.
Yeah.
but it came down to everything that he ended up doing in the movie was because he wanted to be pure again, and it just kind of made me think about like what I'm doing in life or whatever, and kind of our conversation that me and Justin had about somebody.
Passion.
Yeah, right. Passion, right? Mm-hmm. So he was chasing all these things. He lost his passion, and he was miserable.
Is it a suspense?
It's suspense.
Do
It's
people die?
It's a slasher. Yeah.
Oh, so it's a scary movie.
It's not scary.
It sounds kind of like a drama.
Thriller.
It's a thriller. It's a thriller.
I'm probably not gonna watch this. So,
I like thrillers.
Yeah, like I think it's good, bro.
are there black people in it?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I'll watch it.
I'm like, cool.
Wait.
I think black person.
Oh, you
It has to be.
I think I seen the preview.
I'm in the season of my life where it has to be more than one.
Oh, that's the season I stay in.
Is there black people in
It
it?
has to be more than one.
I
If
don't
it's
know,
just
Dante.
one,
I don't see color.
Shut up!
I'm
That's
like
the
Coop, though.
biggest cop
I
out.
prefer movies over TV.
Really?
Yeah, any day. Bro, like movies, you can sit down for 2-3 hours. Only 3 hours if it's Black Panther. But 2 hours and you can watch the movie.
They're gonna take you through.
There's beginning, middle, end. You get a conclusion or resolve. A TV show, you got to come back week to week, or you have to watch multiple episodes to either get to the conclusion, which most likely they're gonna leave you on a cliffhanger for the next season.
That's true.
It's
I can
never
agree with
ending.
that.
I don't be wanting to sit to watch the same thing over and over and over.
I want a
again.
beginning, ending.
Yeah,
So-
I'll lose interest.
So I would say that I used to be like y'all. I used to prefer movies, but I have found some great TV shows, and I've actually started to like the idea.
Name one.
This one that Olivia and I started watching yesterday, and we finished it yesterday.
What was it?
It's on Amazon Prime. It's on Amazon Prime,
What's
and
the
it's
name?
called Rising. I think that's it.
Is that a high school show?
No. It's actually a
A teen drama.
no. It's actually it's a very adult. It's a very adult movie, but a show. But it was good because it basically takes this idea of this dad dies. He had 2 kids and a wife. He ends up leaving those 2 kids and a wife, and that wife starting a whole new family. And when he dies, he leaves his company to the 2 kids he left, and not to the 3 kids he raised.
That makes sense.
But it's all black people, and so
Oh gosh.
and so it was dope
Is this Giannis'
because
story?
it's black people, but they have money. So he has he ends up building the biggest like beauty brand for black women.
That show's canceled, right?
No, it just came out.
Oh, okay. I'm sure.
He ends up building the biggest brand for like black beauty products and hair products. Then he ends up croaking and dying, and then you just see
Croaking is so
Croaking.
weird.
Croaked and died.
he ends up croaking. He dies over, and so you spend the whole season just trying to figure out one. They realized somebody was stealing money from the company.
Of course.
So you spend the whole season trying to figure out who was stealing money from the company. And then 2, you see the family dynamic of, the kids that he raised and his current wife are like, how could he leave his everything to these kids that he left when they were kids.
That makes
Sounds like
sense,
a
though.
slow build.
No, bro, it actually is. So what I enjoyed about the
We're
show.
not a good salesman.
No, listen. What I enjoyed about the show was they jump right into it. Like episode 1, he dies, and then it was so good. Olivia, it's 6 episodes, about an hour each.
Yeah.
On Amazon Prime. Olivia and I sat there and watched it all last night.
Fine, I'll watch
Because you're right. So listen,
Coop is sold.
because every time an episode went off, we was like,
Gotta watch
bro, we
another
gotta
one.
watch the next one. We was like, bro, we have to watch the next one. And normally with TV shows, you can ruin it because you'll end up looking up like who the killer is, or like
Yeah.
But this was the first show that Olivia and I did not do that on.
I never do that.
I don't.
I
either.
do.
I never wanted it to be
I
spoiled.
do. I sometimes I don't really care. I don't really care about ruining it because now I can see who was like the person stealing the money, and then I can work my way back and see how they figured
Why
it
you
out.
trying to make your own adventure?
Because,
Paid
bro,
to write this out, and you're like, nah.
Nah,
Let's
I'm-
watch it backwards.
I'll
Exactly.
be trying to figure it out, bro. Oh no, it's called Riches. That's what it's called. It's called Riches.
Okay.
But guys, I promise you, we also just watched another black film, and this is a TV show, but we just watched a black film, and it was low budget. And
so Riches is
shows like
not
Riches.
low budget.
Shows like Riches make me restore my faith in black cinematography. Because we watched this other thing, bro, and we wasted our time. It was a total waste of time. And Olivia was like, "I can't believe we sat here and watched
We appreciate
this."
your support in the black community.
I do, because even if I started in this bag, I'm gonna finish watching
You
it.
can't get
turn it
range
off.
unless you have a high and a low.
Yeah. I'm gonna watch it. But yeah, guys, go check out Riches on Amazon Prime. I promise you, 6 episodes. You're going to be hooked because you're going to try to figure out.
So it's a whodunit type thing.
It ain't really. Yeah.
I think Dante
essentially.
made it into a whodunit.
Yeah.
No, it is.
It's a true drama.
It's a
Right.
drama,
Yeah.
but it gets wild, bro.
Okay.
It gets wild.
Well, I appreciate that. I'm definitely gonna check that out. And for the first time in forever, finally, we have a sound off.
First, Negro. I never mentioned emotions in regard to deep or in-depth conversations. That is definitely not how I define a deep convo. That was all y'all, so y'all are the women in this scenario. If we are defining deep conversations as an exchange of emotions and or feelings, then it would make sense why you would not automatically have these conversations with men, but do have them with women often. But I would ask, why do you feel the need, quote unquote, to emotionally dump in, quote unquote, all of your conversations with women or with anyone? Are you continually needing your emotions validated, or are you looking for a safe space to just express yourself? If you look back at our conversation, I said it seems like you want to gain insight from the conversations you have, which is why the Mike episode was a good convo for you. You gained an insight. To me, gaining insight or things that make you think doesn't require you to speak to men over women. It's now the exchange of the idea or topic that is being spoken about. So that is where I was coming from with the question, do you feel intimidated/threatened, whatever word you want to use? But since you all are speaking about an emotional conversation, then no, you aren't threatened or intimidated. It makes sense why you wouldn't have those conversations with men right off the bat. But again, I would ask, how would you ever get to that point with new guy friends if you never changed the topic being discussed from LeBron versus Kobe? If your only definition of a deep convo is a convo where you feel safe to discuss some kind of emotion or feeling. Not everyone can carry an actual conversation, which just means you're both talking to the wrong people. But you're automatically making the assumption that, in JJ's words, they won't be able to receive what you are talking about. Yet you didn't even take the initiative to have an interesting conversation, let alone a deep one. But who knows? They could be dumbing down their convo with you because they made the same assumption. If we want to discuss what I believe or think a deep conversation is, then we can have that discussion. But again, y'all brought it to emotions. I was not coming from that standpoint.
React.
No, I think you know what. I think to her point. I think to her point. There's validity. There's validity there. We brought it to emotions because context,
we just took an angle.
We took an angle,
yeah.
right? We brought it to an emotional perspective. How talking to women is easier because it kind of creates in a sense a safe space, kind of like what she said. But even just from a generic space, I agree with her when she says if nobody is willing to make the first vulnerable step, then you'll never have that conversation.
And I'll even agree with her too. It doesn't necessarily have to be something vulnerable. I think, like you said, we just took that angle. I want to leave the conversation gaining something.
Right.
I don't want to just always just have. It's almost like small talk. You know what I mean?
I hate small talk.
I think that we just picked an angle and took it, not with like the full context of everything.
Yeah.
But listening to how you described your conversations, Coop, and then also what she was saying, it basically seems like it's not necessarily the lack of emotional depth per se.
Yeah.
It's just not necessarily intellectually stimulating.
Right.
So it's like the conversation doesn't have depth in itself. You're just not interested.
Right.
It's just not an interesting conversation.
Right.
And it may boil down to personalities.
Yeah.
It may just be like that's just people you just don't click with or whatever.
Yeah, and every conversation is not going to be deep. But we were having a conversation earlier about Coop was out and he met someone, and that example, and I think we kind of figured out why dudes will sit and initiate a conversation with a woman as opposed to a guy.
Yeah. For sure.
No, Coop, give the example.
You want the example? Oh,
Yeah.
So like, so
Surface level conversation.
He said, yeah. Head in the game.
We're going out with the bang.
Hey, one of the things you and Key do is put your helmet on, put your head in the game.
yeah. So I was talking about how I did it again, bro. So I went out yesterday and hanging out with my boy Willie, and then I just struck up a conversation, but it was with, of course, a woman. And then Key was like, "Well, how did you start the conversation?" And I overheard her talking to somebody, and she was giving me energy from a character on a TV show. So I was like, you are, I know who you are from Girlfriends, basically.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Who am I?" I said, "You tell me who you are." And she told me she's Tony, because that's the type of energy she was giving.
She was giving bougie energy.
Bougie, just like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I'm too uppity for this.
too uppity for, I'm better than this place.
Right.
Which I agreed. But so then we struck up a conversation from there. Then we ended up having a good conversation. So just like, you don't necessarily joke with men that you don't know like that randomly at random, right?
Yeah, like I'm not gonna initiate a joke with a guy that I don't. I'm just saying, like, I'm not going to initiate a joke with a guy like that. That could have gone a whole different way if you were just like, "Hey, bro, you remind me of somebody from a TV show." I don't know you.
You ever seen Good Times? The Jeffersons? You ever seen The Jeffersons?
Hey, bro. You've seen radio. Yeah, bro, I'm not going to do that. In fact, it's crazy, but if a dude comes up and just talks to me, maybe it's just a trust thing. If
That's
a dude
what I'm
comes up and
saying.
talks to me, I'm finna be like, "What's up?"
Yeah.
But I feel like it goes back to the whole threat thing. Because it's like there is a level of a threat. Like, I guess with women, more so, we're saying that the guard is down.
Right.
With men, you're trying to gauge whether or not you can have this joke or not off the rip. Whereas a woman, you're not even second guessing it. You kind of just having a joke or whatever. But with the man, you're trying to gauge the temperament. Like, is this situation going to turn hostile? Like, what? You don't know who you're dealing with.
Right. So I think that was, and Shorty, we may have taken what you said out of context again.
We need you on the pod.
Yeah, we're gonna have to bring you on the podcast, because I think this is something that it's a good conversation. As we continue to have the conversation, I think you can start to peel away a lot of the different layers, and there could be a lot of different reasons why men just feel more comfortable having these conversations with women. We just talked about how one of them is just because you feel like you can joke more with the man, but another one could just be that just provides more of a safe space. Women are more trusting. It could be a lot of different things.
Did that go into your decision as far as, like, because you have a speaking coach? Did that go on your decision on who you picked?
Actually, no, but
that's a good question.
But that's a great question. Yeah. Maybe it did, and I didn't even realize
subconsciously.
Yeah, bro,
maybe subconsciously.
So Dante, his speaking coach is a woman.
Yeah, but you know what? But I also have a male therapist. So when I picked a therapist, I wanted
somebody can relate to you.
I wanted a black man. I wanted a black male therapist, simply because I felt like there are certain things that black men go through that only another black man can understand. And so I think we are just multi-layered people, right? Like everything that I have to talk about is not just fit for a woman. There are certain things that I have to have a dialogue with another man, because we are the only ones who understand that experience. Like, even the stuff as a black man, Olivia can empathize with me, but if I'm talking about something like, George Floyd, or just how that made me feel, Olivia can empathize with me, but as a black man, I wanted to be able to have a safe space with another black man.
Can't nobody do it like Tyrone.
If you want to know who Tyrone is, go back and listen to episode 64. But we appreciate that sound. We appreciate that sound off. Any final words? Any final thoughts?
She'll be back.
Yeah. You will be here from Esther again.
Yeah. And we want you on the pod, because I think
we gotta go up there.
Those are great thoughts.
They were really, really good thoughts, and so we need to dive a little deeper into that. Fellas, what else is going on?
There is something. There's been a shift in football.
Don't piss me off.
So y'all know that Coach Prime has made a
Get it
decision.
right. Yeah.
It's Coach Prime.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it is.
Sure.
Yeah,
Everybody
yeah.
knows.
Don't call him Dion.
Yeah.
Yeah, Coach Prime has made a decision to move
Who ain't swag? You apparently.
from to leave Jackson State. So
Yep.
he took a coaching job at Jackson State in 2020, and I guess with that coaching position, there was the promise of bringing top tier athletes, bringing funding, of doing all of these things for HBCUs,
Right.
historically black college universities, right? And there was a lot of energy around it. Well, most recently, he made that decision to leave Jackson State and then take a head coaching position at Colorado. So there's been a lot of conversation, discussion,
Yeah,
On both sides.
spirited
conversation.
discussion
Spirited conversation amongst our community.
on both sides about him making that decision to leave Jackson State, and whether or not he should have or should not have. And so just just toss that up in the air
When
for the fellas.
When stuff like this happens, I really wish I could get all the black people in a room for a town hall,
Right.
so we can have these spirited debates in person.
Right.
Because I have literally seen people on both sides of this conversation. I've seen people be on the side of, well, Coach Prime is, why are y'all upset that a black man is taking another opportunity? See, that's the problem. Y'all want a black man, y'all want to hold a black man down. When I've also seen on the other side of the conversation, people say, well, this same black man said that he wanted to come to HBCUs to make HBCUs better, and now he's leaving HBCUs to go to a white school.
PWI.
A PWI. Is he doing it for the money? Now, let's be clear. King was making about $300,000 as the head coach at JSU. He's now making $6 million a season.
Yeah, but
As the coach in
Prime,
Colorado.
Prime got money.
He does. So money is not the thing. So if he has money, then why would he choose to go to that school as opposed to staying?
We're speeding.
at
We're
a school?
speeding. We're speeding. How do you feel about it?
Oh, I'll tell you. You couldn't tell where I was going? You couldn't tell from where I was going?
No.
Although I understand why one would leave, I don't agree with the decision. And I don't agree with the decision because when
You don't agree with his decision to leave.
I don't agree with his decision to leave. I don't agree with his decision to leave because in 2020, when he wanted to get into that whole, university, college coaching, he went over there to Mississippi and he told them that he wanted to do it so that he could bring top tier athletes to HBCUs, which would also then help HBCUs get more funding, get more opportunities, maybe go into some of these different leagues and just basically do all these things. So you did that. I will say this: he stayed there for 3 years. That's a pretty good amount of time.
Yeah.
But it's almost as if him leaving and going to Colorado, he just said, oh, yeah, I remember what I said, why I came over here, but I'm off that now.
I disagree.
Okay.
I'm cool with his decision to go to Colorado.
I mean, he a grown man. He going to do whatever he want to do.
And I think it's because he was at Jackson State. He did what he said he was going to do. He
did.
fulfilled that there. I think that him going to Colorado is an opportunity for him. I think people are upset because it's selfish, because he's looking out for him.
Which goes back to our other conversation.
It's him looking out for him. But I think that he fulfilled what he wanted to do at Jackson State. I don't think that because he left Jackson State, I think that because he was at Jackson State, I'll say, that the funding has increased, the notoriety has increased. There's been more talk, there's more buzz. It's elevated the HBCUs in totality from him being at Jackson State. So I think he still served a purpose there. And I think that he still has elevated. And with him leaving, there's still opportunity for other coaches to do what he did at Jackson, at a HBCU.
So do you believe that the momentum is going to stay the same now that Coach
I think the
Prime's gone?
momentum's going to shift naturally because he brings momentum around him. So wherever he goes, the momentum's going to shift to that.
Right.
But I do feel like the momentum has shifted for HBCUs. And because he did that, he's like a pioneer. He paved the way for other people that are like him to do similar things. Before he did that, it hadn't been done like that. Somebody else can now follow his same footsteps and do the same thing.
Ain't nobody Coach Prime, though.
He's not the only person with influence.
He's not,
like that.
and this is the thing. And I also don't think it's right to put all that on one man. But I do think that it was an opportunity I don't think that was a short term. I think it's more of a more of a long-term thing than a short-term thing. So I think all of the reasons that he said what he wanted to do, that is a short-term, 3 years is a short term. Like, I don't think he was able to get all that done because now that he done went to Colorado, he also is bringing people to Colorado with him. Right. So you're taking some of these black athletes that you were trying to get to HBCUs and then you taking them to Colorado with you. So what was the purpose of you? What was the purpose of you going building them up to then take them out? And now them same black athletes coming from high school are now going to want to go to more of a Colorado because that's where Coach Prime is. Yeah. Coop, how you feel?
I feel like I think he really accomplished what he was supposed to do, bro. He put out a blueprint. He made the school better. He's got them funding. I watched 2 Jackson State football games. Never watched one before in my life. They were on TV for one.
Yeah. Which one of the things?
He cut the deal.
Which one of the things?
He's provided funding for them. They've gotten multiple deals. Do you think they're just going to stop the deals?
I think with him leaving, there will be less of a want to be a part of that movement.
This is my beef, which let me be a villain again.
Be a villain, Coop. I love when Coop's the villain.
We have this weird thing, bro. Like, as black people, we have this weird thing, like a savior complex. Mm-hmm. Just because he leaves, somebody has to step up. Somebody has to step up. If you're so passionate about it, somebody has to step up.
Right.
And like, I feel like that's happened to us throughout history. Like, I know a lot of our leaders got taken out,
killed,
and then it dies. Right. Because that's our structure. Our community structure is like messed up. I feel like in other communities, like things happen, but they always have somebody next up. Like somebody's gonna pick up the baton. I feel like. I don't know if it's...
We ain't running a relay race.
We're not running a relay. It's like, oh, he's done, then we're done.
Well, MLK's gone!
and that's partially like what I'm saying as far as like him leaving to go to Colorado. Like, bro, he's one person.
He
can leave. It is Coach Prime. Mm-hmm. But the same thing happens. Like, what happens when he retires or he's done?
Now it's done.
It's one individual. You have to create a repeatable, like a duplicatable process.
I agree. And I agree with that. I agree with the fact that is the problem in the black community. Mm-hmm. My fear is that was not done. And so because it was not done, now that he's gone, I just don't think that the momentum
he
will
left
stay the same.
Blueprint.
I disagree. I'm more with Dante. To me, he didn't close the loop. He's still not done.
How could he have closed it?
To the same point that we're making. There's no succession plan. There was no exit plan for him. This opportunity arose, and he jumped at the opportunity. Granted, he said this is what he wanted to do from the beginning.
I was going to say, he said it from the jump.
He did say it from the beginning, but ultimately, he had a 4-year contract. Granted, it's known in sports that you can break your contract and all that, but like, hey, he set out a plan for 4 years, ideally. Mm-hmm. He stopped it in 3. So the last year creates room for error and opportunity for things to fall apart. Mm-hmm. So all these things that we're talking about that he brought can easily fade away because they were attached to him, not necessarily the school or the blueprint or the movement. Mm-hmm. He didn't at least create somebody else to say, hey, somebody else to my same stature, because it's something I truly believe in, is going to be able to fulfill this plan that I'm leaving. Granted, I do take a step back because in the next year, he can still donate the funds. He can still finish this out. But right now, there's been no announcement about how he plans to finish Jackson State other than winning the championship. But it's like,
I don't think we have context on that either.
No, we don't. That's my level of opinion. It's like, ultimately, I know he's established his plan from the beginning, but I still think those same deals will be better next year. That he could have finished his contract saying, hey, I did what I said I was going to do. Right now, we're saying he did it because none of this was really documented. Right. We're just getting all the accolades now.
Right.
But ultimately, at the end of his contract, he could have been said, hey, this is everything I said I was going to do in 4 years. We don't know what he was supposed to do in this next year. The last year could have been the most impactful year.
What if he did everything in 4 and 3?
What's why I signed up for this?
So this is also the thing from watching that video when he went to go speak
to Colorado.
I'm coming. Now let me be very clear. Coach Prime, I envy anybody who could talk about something as passionate as he could talk about football. He believes it. And that was one of his things where he talked about belief. But also, did y'all see the entourage that he had with him? Them are also people that he's taking with him.
That's his crew.
That's his crew. But what I'm saying is, it's not just Coach Prime leaving. It's his crew.
from my knowledge, he's leaving some people there.
He is, but you come on, bro. Let's keep it a buck. The people that you leaving, you gonna take the best people with you. You not finna leave the best people. You're not finna leave the best people at Jackson State.
He's taking an opportunity. I look at it like he's taking the best opportunity for himself.
He is
definitely. I think everybody.
Nobody is negating the fact that he's taking the bet. Come on, bro. 300,000, $6 million a season. Like, he's taking the best opportunity for himself.
It's not even just about the money, though.
I'm saying.
That's not his dream. Also,
I guess it would have been different if he would have said, you know what, I'm going into coaching, and I'm gonna be honest. This is what it's gonna look like. I want to get into coaching. I want to start this journey at the HBCU because I feel like this is where I should start the journey. But let me just be upfront with y'all. This ain't gonna be a. He mentioned it. He did mention it. But I still think what I'm saying is I think people were. When you see everything that he's done, I think it's just really disheartening to see.
Well, I think for me, I'm just not upset about the decision because Jackson State and HBCUs are in a better position because Deion went there.
HBCUs are. HBCUs I don't think they're in a better position as a collective.
I do. I think that I would say that because his impact at Jackson State, it has brought more benefits and attention to HBCUs.
Even Jackson State's basketball coach is Mo Williams, former NBA player. So it's like it's change the change in the culture. He promoted the change. It's up to everybody else to keep that momentum going. He shouldn't have to bear the burden of HBCU for the rest of his life.
And I agree with that. I agree. I think that's a heavy burden. A heavy burden for one man.
And I think I have an issue with all of us making plans for somebody else's life.
That's real.
That's his life.
It is. I think part of it is some of the celebrity of Coach Prime. Because, we're somewhat speaking into it, but Coach Prime spoke himself up a lot. Like, he came in with somewhat of a savior complex of like, I am going to change everything around me. Okay, you're building this up. That means you need to finish the job. You did a lot of good things. You also made a lot of promises to people. As far as like, he's as a head coach, something. I'm going into people's households. I'm talking to their parents. I'm telling them I'm teach your boy to be into a man. That job isn't necessarily finished yet. You can set out the steps and be like, hey, I started this process. Y'all pick it up where I left. But like, no, you told people you were going to change some of that nature of HBCUs. Right now, Jackson State is running off of somewhat of a high, but I mean, in the next year,
they just won the championship.
Yeah, in the next year, is that high going to go all the way to Colorado?
They are going to Colorado.
Yeah,
that's up to Jackson State.
Well, Jackson State was already doing what they could per se. Coach Prime came.
They were doing the best. I think they were doing the best they could with what they had. Coach Prime came in
and said, "Hey, I'm going to do more than that."
So he changed the culture, right?
It's a movement.
Now, and I guess the thing is, like, now they're going to have to rebound from that. Yeah. It's almost as if it was like...
That's what Coop's saying.
Yeah.
That's up to them. They don't got nothing to do with Coach Prime.
You're right. I guess to a certain extent, sometimes I just be like, this isn't to negate what he did in the 3 years that he was there, but sometimes it's like, dang, bro, you should just left him alone.
Left Jackson State alone?
No, because now they're going to have to, bro. They're going to have to. They've experienced all of this growth, and these are already schools that are already, y'all. They're saying that they won't be around in the next 10 years, and so now they're going to have to try to rebound after losing somebody like Coach Prime, which at first you didn't even know what life could be like on the other side. It's almost like. So leave us alone.
but on that note, though, if they're saying that these schools aren't going to be around in 10 years, they have a better chance of being around now because of what just happened. Because if Coach Prime never went, then you could also say, you can hang your hat and say that 10 years is up. Right. Now you have been exposed. The culture has shifted. You have an opportunity to use that as a matter of perspective and mindset. How are you going to take this opportunity that you have and make the most of it?
I guess we're going to see in 10 years.
Ray Lewis, where you at?
Ray Lewis, where you at? You can go coach.
No, real talk. And there could definitely be other coaches. What I'm hoping,
Mike Tomlin.
What I am hoping is that that it opens the opportunity for more coaches to go into HBCUs, because it would sadden me to see an HBCUs They struggling, bro. They really are struggling.
What are you doing to help HBCUs?
I listen to Tom Jordan.
I've donated to Tom Jordan crew.
It's a hard battle.
But you know what? I need to figure out what my asset could be because it ain't money.
Everybody cares.
You should go mentor somebody.
I could, and I'm willing to do that.
Yeah.
This is the thing. To that point, Coop, you're correct. Everybody can take the opportunity. Everybody can take the opportunity to use their gifts. Coach Prime used his gift in football. Everybody can take the opportunity.
I'm saying everybody care. Everybody's so passionate when they don't have to do nothing.
I mean,
Now it's a call to action. What are you gonna do since you care so much?
Well, they ain't calling me the coach. They're not calling me the coach.
I didn't say you have to coach. That's the problem. That's what I'm saying.
You just said no. You said what are you doing? I said I don't know what my gifts can be, but I said I am willing to do that. I'm willing to come in and use my gifts to help.
This is the problem, bro.
What's the problem?
Everything doesn't have to be big, bro. There's more of us than there's Coach Primes. If the people that really care make a movement, it's gonna be more movement than Coach Prime could do. If you really care, but if you don't care, don't care.
Hey,
I'm gonna be honest.
What?
I don't care.
That's real.
You know what? I would actually be intrigued to know. So if you're listening to this podcast and you went to an HBCU, you graduated. We already know Pat is one of those people. How can someone help HBCUs? How can we just help HBCUs with the tools that we have? What can we do to help HBCUs? Because I'm actually intrigued. I would love to help.
I mean, I think it's
I accept that challenge.
It starts with education. For one, being knowledgeable about it. I know as I've grown in this journey of just being more pro-black, even understanding all the HBCUs. We can name the bigger ones, but there's a lot of small ones that you can really
Paul Quinn.
pinpoint. Also, we as our children continue to grow, it's really pushing that narrative.
So actually, I'm so glad that y'all said that because in March, spring break, we are taking Jaden and a couple of her friends to Atlanta, and we're going to look at the HBCUs.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things.
Starting point.
That is one of the things that we figured out, and we're gonna spend spring break taking them on a trip around Atlanta. So we're gonna stop at Spelman, Morehouse, Clark. But we also want to stop at GSU.
So that's part of what my thing I fell short on. When I went down to Houston with Alexia, I showed her TSU. We went all through the campus, but I was like, also, there's U of H.
Right.
So I got to dial that back as far as
Rice.
And Rice. And Rice. But yeah.
3 different tiers.
And so I think that would be something. That's one of the steps that we're taking, and we decided that we were going to take that. Yeah. So I'll chronicle our HBCU experience. But I do want to know from people who are listening who graduate from HBCUs, how do you, even if you didn't graduate from HBCU, how do you feel? We get back to the question of the week. How do you feel about Coach Prime leaving HBCUs? Do you feel like it's right, wrong? Do you feel like he did all he needed to do? Whatever your opinion is, we're going to drop this question. We want to hear from you. So drop that below.
Yep.
So I think one of the biggest things that sets people up for failure or for success is expectation.
Speak on it, brother.
And so even with this whole Coach Prime situation, why are people so upset? Expectation.
Yeah, that's real.
People expected him to stay longer.
That's really the bottom line for everybody.
It's expectation.
Yeah.
And life all comes down to expectations. And so my wife and I were having a conversation because Olivia and I always have. We always talk. One thing me and my baby gonna do is we gonna talk.
But do y'all have handshakes?
We don't have no handshake, bro. But we have great conversations. One thing, if you've ever been around me and my baby, if you ever come to a function we've thrown, you know that we have table topics.
Yes.
And it's something that we keep. You said that with a little groan. Like
No. I enjoy y'all's conversations.
And so one of the things that we were talking about in our household was expectations. And so we came to the conclusion that I know what Olivia's expectations are of me, but she don't really know what the expectations that I have. And so I asked her, we were in a conversation. I said,
dang, I wish we were there.
I said,
record it next time.
I don't know if y'all wanted to see this. It was a bit heated. But I asked her, I said, Olivia, what do I require of you?
Yeah.
What are my expectations of you? And she thought about it. She said, I really don't know. And then she asked me, she said, what are your expectations? And I was in that moment, I stood between a rock and a hard place because I stood along the lines of, I could tell her what my expectations are. I can put them out here. Or I can choose peace and not say anything.
That's true.
Is that really peace?
That's internal conflict.
So I want to know from you guys, when it comes to expectations, even just in just relationships in general, like even in just romantic, but also platonic, do people know what your expectations of them are? Let's start romantic and then we'll work our way out. Does your wife know what your expectations are of her?
I can go first.
Please.
I say yes. So
Okay.
Part of our journey into getting married and when we were engaged, we did premarital counseling. And premarital counseling, that was one of the conversations and one of the topics that we had was expectations. And so part of that was laying out what our expectations were of ourselves and what our expectations were of each other.
Right.
And then coming together and having a conversation around that.
But did you really say them? Were they your real expectations?
So here's the thing. So yes, I think expectations, having this conversation is needed. So they were real things. They were real things that I put down. They were real things that she put down. What we come to realize is that there's a lot of unmet expectations or unspoken expectations.
Right.
So there's things that off the rip, I know these are the expectations that I have, right? But there's things I don't even necessarily think about
Until you get into
until
a
you're in that situation,
Yep.
or until somebody brings another perspective that's like, hey, have you thought about this? I'm like, I didn't really think of that as an expectation.
Right.
But it is an expectation. So I think that is like the nebulous of like talking about expectations is like, where is there's kind of like
a nucleus. When we start talking about atoms.
it's the unmet expectations aspect of it. So even being married, I'm still learning some of the ways that which I show up is an expectation that I have that just hasn't been communicated.
And expectations can change.
They can change, but it's also just like realizing some of the things, like putting the language behind it as an expectation. But we have that conversation because my thing is like, and this is really our thing, is like we want to be able to meet each other's expectations where they're realistic. If they're not realistic, let's talk about it. So
But
that
see,
way
who determines what's realistic and what's not realistic?
Marriage is a partnership.
Yeah.
You gotta have to. That's why I'm saying if you don't ever express,
Educate him.
If you don't ever express your your expectations, how will Livy know whether or not she can meet that or not? It could be far fetched. You could be living in a fantasy world.
I feel like you don't expect that much.
So I'm gonna be honest. I don't.
It doesn't matter.
I don't
It doesn't
say
matter.
I
It
don't
really
expect
doesn't-
much.
It doesn't matter though. It don't matter, and the only person that matters to is whoever you will have the expectation for.
See, this is why I don't expect nothing.
Oh my goodness.
Because people let you down.
But that's me. What about you, Crew?
Bro, I couldn't agree more. I think an issue I have in general is I'm scared. No, I lack sometimes. You like you said, you don't know what you don't know.
Right.
So it's like I learn as I live. So it's like my expectations before marriage were silly. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like some silly stuff until you get into it. You're like, you know what? I don't like that. I really don't like that.
Right.
I don't like that you corrected me in front of I really don't like that. Like different stuff like that. So it's like, it's just, I think the important thing is to continue to update your expectations as y'all do. Because you tell them once and they're like, well, I didn't know that. We got to update them, let them know where you at.
Well, as of today. That's an expectation.
Exactly.
KJB.
Expectations can make or break a relationship.
They can.
It's super, super crucial to understand that expectations, for one, are tied into your identity.
Right.
How you see yourself, and how you see, how you believe other people see you,
Right.
can be tied into your expectations. So at the core of it, your relationship is truly based off your level of expectation for each other.
Right.
Y'all wouldn't be in a relationship if you didn't set an expectation.
Right.
So to your point, Don said, where you feel like you don't have expectations, that's a missing part of the relationship. Like you can't have a relationship with somebody without having an expectation.
No, to that point, I have expectations. I just don't vocalize.
But I think that comes into the aspect, it's such as romantic and platonic, as far as if you don't understand how to communicate your expectations,
right,
then you live life with a lot of hidden expectations and also unrealistic expectations. Mm-hmm. And
That's
both
true.
of those will tear you apart.
You're disappointed all the time.
All the time.
All
you end
the
up being
time.
disappointed all the time. So one of the things for me, I try. It's okay, brother. One of the things for me is I had to learn that, for one. And I try to counteract that by truly speaking about my expectations.
Your expectations.
But even still with that, like that level of refreshing your expectations can be very tedious.
Yeah.
And
Right.
it can also affect your partner as far as their expectation. Their expectation could be like, I understand at this point.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need you to reiterate that.
Mm-hmm.
Now our expectations are conflicting.
Yeah.
Bro, you know what it is? It made me, the conversation made me realize that I don't think I vocalized expectations with anybody, like romantically or platonically. Even with friends, I don't vocalize my expectations. And then I had several conversations with some guys, you know, that we're doing life together. These the homies. And what I asked them realistically, I said, do y'all know, what are your expectations? Like, what do you need? And a couple of dudes, majority of them legit were like, bro, I don't know. And I legit feel the same way. And I think, honestly, that, and it can come from how you grow up, but a lot of times you, as men, and y'all can tell me if y'all feel like this, I feel like at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what your expectation is. Like, it doesn't matter because at the end of the day, no one really cares.
I disagree.
I disagree.
I would say that it matters because you want to see where, you want to at least give them the chance to work towards meeting your expectations. 'Cause I'm not saying that they're going to hit it every time, but it's like, if they know where you're at with it, they can start moving towards it. Or, like I said before, let's go and part ways.
Well, and I'll say, and this matters, and this is something I'm learning, but it matters because they're your expectations.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So if you say that your expectations don't matter, you're basically saying you don't matter, and you matter. And you matter.
No, I know I matter, but I guess for me it is, I don't say the expectations because at the end of the day, it just has to get done, and this is something that I'm working on. Just the idea of like, at the end of the day, expectations, feelings aside, whatever, things have to get done. Mm-hmm. To that point, though, I show up for everybody else, and I need to give people the opportunity to show up for me. But yeah, bro, that was just a conversation that we were just having about expectation, and I really just didn't. I wanted to know, do you guys feel? We went into another conversation about safe. Mm-hmm. Like, do you even feel safe enough to say what your expectations is? Has that space been cultivated? Yes or no?
I think me and Key do a good job of communicating, like stuff like that. I think that's probably our strongest thing in a relationship, is our communication with things like that. We have communication drop-offs on other things.
But I done been there for some of them drop-offs.
Like what we're gonna do today, or like what do you have planned today, stuff like that. But as far as like what we need at the moment, I think we do a pretty good job of communicating most of the time.
Has that always been the case? Like, or has that been developed?
Definitely developed. Like I said, y'all know I've been with Key forever. What, 13, 12 years?
Wow,
like
I didn't realize it was that long.
And yeah, it's something that we definitely had to develop over time, and I think it's become a strength where it used to be a weakness.
Okay, good. Would you say that safe space has been cultivated for y'all?
Oh yeah. For me, I thought you was pointing at Justin.
I was pointing at both.
Oh yeah, I would say it has, bro. But that's partially because that's how we started our like relationship. The foundation of it was talking about those things. Mm-hmm. There's a safe space on both parts to bring that up. So we do have conversations like the Coopers. Like we have a platform, and we have an understanding of like, these are conversations that we can have, and we provide each other the space. But we've also had the conversation of like, how do I provide that safe space for you? Right. Like, how do I make you feel comfortable? How do I provide that safe space? Because it looks very different for me than it looks for her.
Right.
And so we have to figure out what that looks like for each other. that doesn't negate the fact that it's sometimes difficult to have those conversations.
Right.
Because we can have them, but it can be challenging to talk through them at times. Right. Especially if like this is a expectation that you're hard pressed on, that you got to shift or adjust or vice versa. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah. The hard thing with safe space, I would say that I'm definitely working on. I have learned how to create a safe space for myself to vocalize my level of expectations. Dealing with my wife and my daughter type thing. One of the things that I've received back is creating a safe space for them to understand that if you don't meet the expectation, it's okay. And that's a whole different level of dialogue. Like as far as like, hey, the expectation is set. I come from a family of like high standards. Like this is what we said that we wanted type thing. But understanding like, hey, you're not perfect. You're not always going to hit the mark. It's okay to be disappointed. It's okay to be frustrated in that. It's okay sometimes to be elated that, hey, I gave it my best and I couldn't do that. So I know I have to work on creating that safe space for like, you can always feel comfortable to kind of rebuttal the level of expectation or speak to the level of expectation that I set. And sometimes it gets difficult. It is a very uncomfortable conversation when I know I've stated my expectation and you don't hit it.
Right.
Like I said, and that's platonic wise as well. Like, you know, when I'm setting my level of expectations through accountability, that's one of the big things I'm on. Like, hey, I expect you to do this. I'm leaving this call. Say, hey, I need you to call me back, or I need you to do 1, 2, and 3. And you don't do it. And a lot of people will fall off of that. Just like, all right, you set the expectation, I ain't hit it, I'm leaving type thing. But to be able to come back and be like, all right, I didn't hit your expectation, that's the place I need to work on, like creating that.
Right.
I really appreciate that y'all keep saying how difficult the conversations are. Because like a lot of times I feel like when we talk about stuff, it sounds so simple.
Easy.
Like we're breaking it down in a way that you understand, but it's like when you're actually doing it, it is something.
These are tough conversations.
It's not supposed to be easy. Like you know, you can try to make it as easy as possible, as painless as possible, but there's gonna be some type of pain, some type of resistance anytime you're trying to grow. Adversity, exactly.
Right. So, Coop, do you know what my expectations of you are as a friend?
I have no idea. I know. I usually go based off my expectations. So I think that's
conversation right there.
That's what I'm saying. But I think that's the miscommunication.
Oh, so you're saying your expectations of others
treat people how you want to be treated.
Okay.
That's I mean, I think that's pretty much
philosophy.
That's the philosophy, right? For most people. That's what everybody was taught, right?
I dig deeper.
Justin, do you know what your friends' expectations are?
I think, I mean, of course, it varies for each person. Yeah, but for the most part, yeah, I do believe so.
JJ, do you know?
So it's different for me because and this is what I was saying. So what I was speaking to earlier is from the relational, I guess, a romantic perspective. Friendships or platonic relationships, not the case. Like I don't really vocalize. I don't feel like I vocalize expectations in the same manner that I vocalize them for romantic relationships. I have an idea of what y'all's expectations are, but like getting down to the real, I think that idea comes from what I think y'all's expectations are, or what Coop said, how I approach with my expectations. I just feel like we're aligned in that, or we're similar, or I paid attention enough to say, I see how what you vocalized or what you said, like this seems like this is your expectation. I have not had no conversation with none of y'all. They're like, bro, what's your expectation of me? Or this is my expectation. I literally have never done that with nobody
We've never
else.
had that conversation.
I've never said, hey, here's my expectation from this relationship.
Have y'all ever had that conversation?
I've had something. I said something to y'all before.
What?
When y'all got married, what did I say? I said, if y'all cheating... I said, bro, I'm gonna tell you right now, if y'all are ever cheating on your wife, do not use me as the fault. I said, I am not gonna lie for y'all in y'all's marriage.
He did,
and that's that.
Yeah, I feel like it's always been like indirect. Like, you know, I've been like saying things like, if I mean, I don't know.
So the question with that is, if your friends don't even know your expectations.
Well, do you know our expectations?
Yeah, I don't. So I'm gonna be honest. I'm telling y'all, I don't tell anybody my expectations because I don't believe. I don't want to put nobody in a situation to where you can let me down.
It's
interesting.
Because if you let me down,
it's interesting.
I'm done with you.
Because I know, but I know that's an expectation for you.
And I'm gonna say, I know that of you.
That's why I show up for you.
Never mind.
So in that regard,
It is kind of like vocalized.
it is. That's what I was about to
y'all
say.
been
I feel like
around
I
me
know.
long enough to know that one of my biggest things is if you don't show up for me.
I've heard you say, I went to this person's birthday
Mm-hmm.
and this person didn't come to my birthday and I'm upset.
Not y'all coming because y'all scared.
No. I just know
That's y'all showing up because y'all scared. See, now I'm questioning the heart behind. I'm questioning the heart behind whether y'all do stuff
First
for
of
me.
all, I ain't scared. I'm showing up because I know that that's the expectation.
Justin, is that why you be trying to make sure I celebrate my birthday every year? Because you understand that's an expectation.
It's your expectation.
It's just
Wow. So with friends, you don't necessarily have to have a sit down conversation like you may do with your partner, but you can be around somebody long enough to know that like their expectation is to see you a certain number of times in a month or talk to you a number of times in a month. What happens when those expectations change? So like, let's say, pre-marriage, you had more time to hang out. But now that you're married, life is different. Or for some people, you get in a relationship. Or for some people, work becomes crazier. And now you're not showing up in those relationships how you were before. What happens when those expectations aren't met? Or how can you keep that from being tension?
I think you got to communicate them. Mm-hmm. So like, here's a good example. We recorded a podcast last week. Me and Coop went out afterwards.
Right.
And
that heart to heart.
Hey, we did, bro. It was a heart to heart.
Who cried?
Much needed on both sides.
Nobody cried.
Y'all weird. That ain't no heart to heart. See, that's because y'all insecure. Y'all insecure.
But
other men.
But with us having that conversation, we also brought to light, like, bro, this was good. This was needed. We need to do this more. But also, here's the realistic thing is that we're both navigating these different areas and these different transitions in our life.
Right.
So what's the expectation? Hey, bro, maybe we can get together once a month.
Right.
All right. Well, maybe we'll invite y'all over. You can do like we're readjusting our expectations based off of what we want to do.
That's
Calibrate.
Yeah, it's just recalibrating.
good.
I think that's needed.
That kind of brings me into a topic that, bruh, I did not understand how much of an adjustment it is as a friend when people get married.
What do you mean?
So like, when me and JJ were talking, I'm like, yeah, bro. So it's like I don't want to interfere with your marriage, like, like hitting you up all the time or trying to get you to go play. I know you got a wife to think about now, but then everybody got married, so now I'm isolated,
right?
Because I'm gonna give everybody space for their new
nuptials.
Yeah, their new condition. And bro, I think I highly underestimated that when I got married. I was like, nothing's changed, but you really do kind of treat people because I'm not just dealing with JJ anymore.
Right. Yeah. Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm dealing with JJ and G, and I don't want to make G
disrupt. Right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's valid.
Have y'all experienced that at all or no?
Yeah.
We had those conversations as we were going through all our processes together. It's like, hey, even our level of touch bases, we used to hang out and kick it and talk forever.
Right.
And it's like, nah, we can't necessarily do that anymore.
Right.
And I think in all of our levels of speeches to our significant others, we apologize to our spouses and be like, yo,
I'm sorry I enjoyed myself too much.
Yeah. We can't do this anymore.
Bro, you really do see it change a lot. Like even when I got married, bro, my mom used to call me every single day. No lie. Just to talk. Right. Just to chop it up. That's the homie. When I got married.
Do you have a handshake though?
Shut up. We hug because that's my mommy. But when I got married, my mama started to call me less. And one of the things that she said on the phone was, she was like, I said, Mama, one day, like a whole week had went by and we hadn't talked. And it kind of dawned on me and I called and I said, yo, what's up? You been busy?
Right.
And she was like, no, I you're married now. I don't want to interfere or disrupt, what you and Olivia have going on. And I was like, dang, Mom, like, nah, at the end of the day, you still moms. Like, it better be every day, but like, don't ever feel like because I'm married or for some people in a relationship that you can't communicate with me like that.
It's different though.
It's different.
Like that accessibility is always there.
Yeah, right. For sure.
The way the frequency of the accessibility changes.
Right.
I would also challenge married friends to also be super intentional with your other friends. What I've realized is, what I've realized is, at being married, it has become extremely easy to get wrapped up in the day-to-day of what me.
Didn't y'all be inviting them over to the house?
That's why I'm looking at him.
Nah, y'all married friends. I'm talking about like your single homies.
Oh, you said married.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Like y'all married friends. And
Oh,
y'all,
I guess I don't count. Now you're treating me different again.
yeah. I'm talking about like it can be really, really easy. Even just you're married or you're in a relationship and you may have a single friend. It can be really, really easy to get wrapped up in what y'all have going on, and your friendships can fall by the wayside.
Yes.
This was one of the things that my baby experienced when we got married. One of her friends was like, you got married, girl, and I don't even hear from you no more.
Yeah.
And it's because, we've gone about life. We've, started to find our routine and how we do things. But you can't neglect those relationships. Like those relationships they're still very much important. Mm-hmm. And I think when people, it can be really easy to neglect those. And so I would
you gotta manage how you communicate your expectations. Still kind of bringing it back. So I know it's a little bit unconventional for us, but like we kind of went about it in our own methods, but truly it comes down to communicating expectations. We realized it because we went through it in real time that our time is being taken up differently when we got married. Mm-hmm. But there's a lot of people outside of our immediate circle that we didn't necessarily have those direct conversations with. You and your mom figured out because you inquired, and this when you described your level of expectation. But ultimately, you have to review through all your relationships, the ones that you deem worth it. Hey, we got to set new parameters. We got to set new expectations, and it's uncomfortable conversations. But it's needed to be done because if you don't clarify it in the realm of expectations, it comes as unspoken or unrealistic,
right? And
that will create levels of burdens on other people.
And that creates resentment.
But I feel sorry for y'all. I'm finna start vocalizing my expression to everybody.
That's good.
Is it?
When you go home.
I feel like it's good till I start holding people to it.
I think as you should.
And then
but also it's a two-way street.
When people don't meet it.
It's a two-way street. Because when we're talking about like our level of expectations, and we kind of briefly touched on like it's two ways. Because once you express your expectation,
because
you
I
have
had
to be
an
prepared for
expectation this week.
Yeah, come back for you.
Whoa, we want to talk about that?
All right, guys, it's been a great podcast.
But I'm still here.
What was the expectation?
I forgot. So JJ had an expectation, and I was supposed to hit JJ up on some accountability stuff.
There we go.
And I did not. Totally forgot, bro.
JJ, do you still want to be friends with me?
The thing for me is grace. With expectations, you gotta have.
Hey,
grace.
bro. JJ calls me on Wednesday. He said, "Hey,
no, it wasn't Wednesday. It was Friday.
Was it Friday?
Your expectation was Wednesday.
I told you Wednesday,
and I gave you 2 days grace period.
JJ calls me and he's like, "Hey, what's up, bro?" I'm like, "Hey, bro, what's up?" He's like, "You had a good week?" I'm like, "Yeah, bro, the week was straight." He's like, "Okay, so you never got back to me about my question."
I said, "You 2 days past due."
He's like, "You 2 days past due." I said, "Oh, bro, I totally forgot. I literally forgot." And he was like, "That's okay. So when can you get it to me?"
New expectation. Updated expectation.
Updated. And I told him today.
Did you do it?
I still have till midnight. No, bro. I just thought it was a good conversation. And for those people who feel like me, like your expectations don't matter. They really do matter. Mm-hmm. And fundamentally, I understand that they matter. It's just about, I just be like,
you don't want to be disappointed, bro.
I don't want to be disappointed. And it's just easier for me.
But you are.
What, disappointed?
Yes, yeah. I don't understand this.
You don't want to give them the opportunity.
I don't give them the opportunity.
Yeah.
It's different when I'm disappointed when I put it out there. No, here's my thought. This is how I think. It's different if I have the expectation and then you didn't know about the expectation. Because fundamentally, logically, I can say
it's not expectation. That's the issue.
Yeah, right. logically, I can say, shut up.
Oh, okay. You the problem. I didn't know we were doing there.
Logically,
we can talk about it off mic.
Logically, I can say, oh, you know what? I never spoke that expectation.
Right.
But if I speak an expectation and the expectation is not met, it's hard for me to give grace, bro. Because I try so hard to meet everybody's expectation. If you tell me that this is expectation for you, I am going to try my hardest to meet that expectation. And so I just expect that same type of energy.
That's a lot.
It is.
It's a hard way to live life. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's been rough for your boy. Now, just switching gears a little bit. Y'all know we come on the podcast because sometimes you just need a different perspective.
Yeah.
I like to think sometimes life is difficult when you're like up close and personal with something. You don't get to see the big picture.
Right.
I wanted to know from y'all because I had a question where I want to ask, am I tripping on this? So wifey's car has been in the shop probably for about a week and a half. So we've been operating on one car. That in itself is an interesting dynamic.
Okay.
We've been operating on one car. Now with that comes, if you know anything about ladies, they just accumulate a lot of stuff. So we've been operating in one car. My car has been getting just a little dirty. Now it was dirty before. It wasn't just
a little
fam.
disheveled.
Yeah, it wasn't just the fam. It was a little dirty before. So I ended up taking off work on Monday for a little mental health day. Took off work on Monday. So I was vocalizing to wifey. I said, hey, these are the things that I'm going to get done today. I'm going to go run some errands. I'm going to go clean out the car. Whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop. I go and clean out the car. I go vacuum it. Car is spotless. I throw everything in the car away. Because
Reasonable.
that's what I do.
Reset.
I just reset. Later that night, me and wifey spending time together. We watching TV. She says, oh my gosh, I'm out of dental floss. One thing about my baby, she gonna floss.
She got the floss
good.
sticks or the
gonna
flossers?
She used the old school, the string.
Oh, okay.
Cut your she was like, I'm out of. She said, I'm out of dental floss. She then calls into me in the living room and says, babe, is my dental floss in the car? I said, oh, the dental floss that was on the floor of the car, I threw it out. She gets upset and says, why did you throw my dental floss out?
Brand new pack.
And I said, if you wanted it, you wouldn't have left it in the floor of the car.
You sound like a mom.
knowing that I told you earlier that I was going to clean out the car.
Right.
My baby gets in the car, goes to Kroger, buys more dental floss. Now she comes back in the house. We're now at tension. We're in tension. So it's time to talk it out. She's like, I just don't understand why you threw my dental floss in the trash. And I said, I don't understand why it was on the floor of the car for days.
Expectations.
She said, because it fell out of my purse. I said, if you wanted it, you would have picked it up. So this is how I know. If you knew where it was, if immediately you asked, hey, the dental floss, is it still in your car? You knew where the dental floss was. So when I tell you I'm cleaning out my car, you should know how I clean. I throw everything away. I'm not a clutter person.
Yeah.
I throw everything. Olivia helped me move out of my apartment. I'm throwing everything away. She was like, no, you can say that. Don't want to.
Right.
I'm throwing it away. I'm starting fresh. So she told me that her expectation is that I should have asked her, I should have collected all of those things and asked her and Jaden, were they theirs so they could claim them? And I said, if y'all wanted it, y'all wouldn't have left it in the car.
Right.
Was I wrong? Am I tripping for throwing the dental floss away?
In the case of the dental floss.
We laugh about it now. I call it denticate.
No, I'll throw it away too. I'm the same way. I'd rather throw it away. You think you want me to coddle y'all and
So she was upset,
and then now I gotta go throw it away?
Right, so she was upset in my response because when I told her I threw it away, I said, Olivia, just go buy some more dental floss.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. It's like it's dental floss, so you can go buy some more. I feel like if you throw away a document that she needed or something,
I wouldn't have thrown away something like that.
Yeah,
I don't know. You said everything.
Yeah.
I mean, if I would have saw something that looked important, I would have just been like,
Then throw it away. It shouldn't have been on the floor.
Nah, I agree, bro. I think now she knows the expectation is. When I say I'm cleaning my car, anything you want that I can throw away,
Right.
make sure to go get it out of my car or go through my. Matter of fact, you clean my car. Wait. Edit. I haven't had one of these in a while.
KJB, am I tripping?
A little bit.
Okay, how so?
Bridging off the conversation of expectation.
Right.
How was Olivia's car?
You don't want the answer to that.
I think we do.
Most women's cars.
It's like most women's cars.
I'm not
They just.
speaking on women's business. That's just Olivia.
I'm saying I think women just naturally just have more things in their car, bro. How many like videos have we seen on social media where it's like cups and just women just naturally I feel like just have more things. So like it's easy for them to switch out purses and stuff and all that. So I just think they
I'm
naturally
the
have
messy
more
one,
things.
so I.
Oh, God, I have lived with you. You're correct.
But that being said, as far as the level of expectation, this is how Olivia runs her car type thing. I understand y'all want to separate it out to like, this is my car still, but now y'all are down to one car. It is y'all car. This is also on the passenger side.
That man anointed.
As long as you're driving, you can say the Olivia side is on her side. This is her area
It's
of
my
y'all
car.
car.
It's my car.
Check his ass, Justin.
So, and since y'all didn't have the true conversation about expectations, you just did the surface level, I'm cleaning the car. What is the expectation of how y'all utilize one car?
Justin, mind your business.
Get your house in order, Dante.
So I got two people to agree with me. That's all I need. You cannot switch.
I'll switch sides.
You can't switch sides.
How I probably would have done it is, whenever I clean out the cars, I will take usually like
The
before.
cars. Because they cleans both of them out.
He clean both of them. Well, Olivia, we take Olivia's to go. I like to hand clean out my
Well,
car.
if I'm ever cleaning out a car, I will, before I go to get it clean, I just take everything that I need. If there's stuff in the car, I just bring it in the house, like things that are needed. My car is usually really clean. For my wife, I would probably just bring in whatever I think is important because everything else is going to get thrown out. Whenever it gets, so like dental floss, that's going to get thrown out.
I was about to say, God, it's dental floss. It ain't like I threw away a Social Security card.
Right.
Like, it ain't like guys, let me be very clear.
That's why I say you can buy more
If there
dental
was
floss.
something that I felt like it was something of value, I would have said, oh my God.
Started off with-
Justin is saying you should have taken the dental floss from the driver's side and put it on the passenger side.
That's her side.
No, so you know what? I brought this up with my coworkers, and I brought this up with my coworkers, and my coworkers said I was wrong. They were like, "Bro, you're wrong." In fact, one of them was like, "See, I done had my stuff thrown away before. That pisses me off." And I said, "I don't have. You know why I don't have stuff thrown away? Because they never in the way. Because if it's something that I want, if it's something that I need, it's not going to be in the way. But maybe that's because." My expectations.
There you go. Where you drawing the line at? Right now it's the car.
Maybe it's because it's my expectations. I know that if it's something that I really, really want, I'm going to make sure that I take it, I get it with me, bro. Like, if it's something that I bring down to the car, I'm going to take it back up to the house. If it's something that I know is important, that's just how I operate. And I guess I just can't expect everybody to
That's not
operate
how
like
your
me.
wife operates. And that's your one.
Dentalgate. One of my coworkers said, I need to have dental floss in the car for her, and I need to keep it in the glove.
You start off the
compartment.
conversation with Livy likes to floss all the time, so you know this about your woman.
Ooh, not you being inconsiderate.
Oh,
You could have easily put that dental floss in the glove compartment.
oh!
In your pocket, it should be ready at all times.
Boy, stop
Once
the
again,
cap.
We could have
Stop
bought a
the
whole
cap.
new package.
Boy, stop the
Brought it
cap.
No
home.
handshake, no dental floss.
Oh my
I'm
God.
questioning a lot.
Moving on. Thank you guys for your insight, I guess.
Now it is that time. It's time for
The sound.
Bite of the week.
Okay, hold on.
Yeah,
I
we
didn't know
had
where
the
we were
cadence.
going with this scoop. You
That's my
said,
fault. That's my fault.
you
That's my
said
fault. That's
B.
my fault. No, bro.
Okay.
I'm not doing it again. It's time for the soundbite of the week.
And this week I got it. So the soundbite of the week is: it's not what it costs, it's what it's worth.
So what would have cost you to put that dental floss?
Shut up!
Was it worth peace? Was it worth the war?
It was worth me knowing my car was clean.
Meaning, water is a good example. Mm-hmm. You can get water at Costco or the grocery store for like, you can get a big package for like $2. You can go to the airport and get one bottle for like $10. Mm-hmm. If you live somewhere where they ain't got no water, it can be much higher. So it's not what it costs. It's what it's worth.
Hey, y'all, this nigga think he E.T.
What is this capitalism? How much do you want to pay?
Sell.
What he said?
ABC always be closing.
Full disclosure, that's not mine.
Oh, is that yours?
I got that from Tim Ross. Okay. But it's deep.
I'm sure he told it better.
No, he probably did. But I'm pretty sure he didn't.
I'm just joking. Is your
dental floss.
expectation that I don't joke on you?
No. I don't have that expectation.
Okay, cool. Glad.
But that's the soundbite of the week.
Oh, guys, we have reached the end of season 2. Whoa, it's been a long season.
It's been a ride.
This season has had like 30 episodes. 30 episodes.
And 3 weddings.
This has been. You're correct, because the season 1 we ended off at the engagement,
Right.
And we picked it back up. So this really has been a good season filled with a lot of memories.
Do you have any big things to announce? Anybody need to say anything?
Don't look over here. We over here arguing about dental floss.
I dreamt about fish last night.
Tilapia.
Nah.
No announcements.
Wait, do y'all?
No announcements.
Okay, cool.
More ink coming next season.
Oh yes, we're claiming that. Yeah. So this is the end of season 2, guys, and y'all, as we go into the holiday, y'all already know the fellas about to be taking breaks. For 3 of us, it's gonna be our first Christmas holiday as married men. So we're gonna be doing some traveling, spending time with family, and so this is going to conclude our season 2.
Anything y'all want to say?
Hey man, I'm just thankful, always thankful for just our listeners, bro. We legit have listeners who show up and listen to the pod every single week, bro. Be listening at 5 a.m. Every single Wednesday. And so, guys, for the continued support, can't thank y'all enough.
Same, man. I'm appreciative of the listeners, man, and the support. Everybody just tuning in and showing love. It's greatly appreciated. I'm also appreciative of y'all, man.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, me too.
We appreciate you too.
Hey, man. Appreciate that.
I'm coming back with expectations.
And on that note, I feel like our supporters should come back with expectations of us too.
Yeah.
Yes.
Don't feel afraid to voice them. We literally is us in a room, and we really trying to make this better at all costs. So we want to know from you. We know reviews is something that y'all knocked out the first season. We put that expectation out, but also if y'all feel like we're not worthy of getting reviews, tell us that.
Yeah. Let us know what's going on.
I will say this. We have to own up to where we made a mistake. We thought that we was going to be on video in season 2.
Yeah.
We did.
Yeah.
But much like y'all stay with them men way longer than y'all should, stick it out with us. I promise, baby, we gonna do better.
I'm going to get right.
Baby, I'm gonna promise I'm gonna do better. So what about you?
Bro, I really appreciate everybody listening. I love all the feedback we get. I just love our listenership, man. And I can't wait for next season. It's going to be bigger. It's going to be better. Going all out. It's going to be And, bro, we really, really, really have to get to meet everybody, get everybody together, have a good time. I just know it's going to be a vibe when we get it done. And I'm really working towards getting that done next season.
Yeah, bro. It's gonna be a vibe. Hey guys, if you want to know everything that we're going, we posted that question. We're gonna post that question about Coach Prime. Please follow us at the Soundboard Podcast, but also keep up with us individually. One of the things we're gonna do better at is actually posting on our pages. We only be posting on our stories. So we're gonna do better about that. It's your boy Dante. You can follow me at Dante Speaks Life.
You can follow your boy JJ at _Jeremy J.
And this is Coop. Let me just say Merry Christmas. Happy New Year.
Happy Hanukkah.
When y'all see me next year, y'all not going to recognize me from this year because I'm going to be different.
You going to get a man with it?
Hey, watch out now. No, I'm about to be waved up, you heard? The car's going to be faster. Pocket's going to be fatter. Stomach might be flatter. I don't know. We're going to see.
You gonna get a BBL? You know, dude's been doing that.
Get some ab implants. But again, man, this is Coop. You can follow me at @thisiscoop_.
All things Big KJB at Just a Fiasco.
We out.
Peace.